Greetings to everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about museum experiences in Africa. When we go to a new country, we travel around and we say, what should we do to understand these things better? We need to go to museums. Is that right? When we look at Tanzania today, there are 3, 4, 5 museums in Dar es Salaam alone. But when you visit these museums, you will be disappointed. Because unfortunately, many countries in Africa do not value the museums they have built very much. In Tanzania, frankly, I experienced this a lot. In all the cities I visited, I entered the museum in that city in order to get to know that city better. But I can say that they are all the same. It does not satisfy you in any way, friends. That's why I don't recommend you to enter the museums of any country you go to in Africa. By the way, the fees are not too expensive. It is really a very reasonable fee. But when you enter the museum, unfortunately, it does not meet that expectation. Let's say you went to Europe. Look, when you go to Europe, there are all the latest technologies in the museums. And they really leave people in such amazement. For example, when I went to Dubai, I entered the museums and I was really astonished because they use the latest technology. Even when I went to Anut Kabir about 6 months ago, my mouth was really open. If I remember correctly, it was the 99 earthquake. The last time I went to Anut Kabir was when I was a kid, 23, 24 years ago. Although I visited Anut Kabir as it was, I didn't remember much because I was a child. When I went to Anut Kabir 6 months ago, friends, I visited the museum and I was really speechless. I mean, Anut Kabir was beyond magnificent. Many things that Ataturk used were on display there, from the clothes he wore to his belongings. In such a truth, people were amazed and wanted to finish the museum with their mouths open. I really enjoyed it very, very much. Since my English is not very good anyway, I honestly didn't understand anything. You can say, Mustafa, it's your fault, brother, if you knew English, etc. But really, friends, unfortunately, you cannot get the same feeling in Africa as you can in Turkey or in Europe or in many museums you visit. So it is a disappointment. Because when you go to a museum in Africa, you have to take that road, rough roads. Apart from that, maybe you are stuck in traffic, in that heat, etc. You know, you go, you say, let me learn a little bit like this, let me get some cultural information. But unfortunately, you can't get that pleasure, friends. That's why I ended up disappointed in all the museums I went to, friends. If you want to plan and visit museums during your trip to Africa, my humble advice to you, friends, is to remove or dilute the museums. For example, instead of entering the museum in all the things you go to, experience 1 or 2 of them. Then you will understand what I'm saying better. You will say that this child is telling the truth. Unfortunately, this does not apply to museums in Africa, friends. Now let's say you paid the fee and went inside. What will greet you? First of all, let me tell you a little bit about it. Especially if you do not speak English, you will not understand anything anyway. For example, when you go inside, many things in the museum, even 90% of them are photographs. For example, think of a spear. Friends, this spear is hanging on the wall in one such photograph. Here is its history, where it came from, where it was used, and so on, and this kind of information is usually included. So when you walk around the museum, be sure that you will see an environment that is 90% just pictures and writings. And I can even guarantee you that you will be the only tourist to visit the museum that day. That's why in all the museums I visited while I was in Tanzania, I encountered the same thing every time. Very rarely I witnessed such special products for the people of that place and so on. The rest, as it is, friends, are always from photographs and writings. Don't waste your time in vain, don't lose it. You will both keep your money in your pocket and save time. Instead, believe me, when you enter into a dialogue with the people, you can learn more. When I was in Tanzania, we had many Turkish citizen friends that I hosted. And when they wanted to go to the museum, I definitely did not recommend them to go to the museum. In fact, a few of our friends stubbornly said that they would go. Although I told them, they did not listen to me. They went, came and kissed me on the forehead. Of course, when we go there, we are not looking for that technology and so on and so forth. But what I want to tell you, friends, is that those museums really feel abandoned. I mean, how could there have been a museum in Turkey in the 1800s? So, abandoned, worthless. If you want to experience this, go. But if you say I'm going to visit a museum, I'm going to get a real pleasure, it will end in disappointment. As I said, I shared with you what I saw and experienced. Please subscribe to my channel
Don't forget to like the video. Goodbye and see you in the next video.